There are five main reasons why I left Zanzibar. The anti-blackness is probably number one on the list. Welcome to BLAXIT to Africa. I am Tadre Delora Moignet, a California native living my best life in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I hope that you are informed, entertained, and inspired to BLAXIT to Africa. And today, I got my tea. I always got my tea. Today I have cinnamon bark, raw cloves, and vanilla, Ugandan vanilla green tea mixture with some raw honey. Very, very tasty. And I got this. I just want to share this because, when people come to a new place, you're always looking for where to source different household items, who the best service providers are, etc., etc. So I found out from my girl who was furnishing her Airbnb. She brought me along to Kamkunji Market in, I'll say, like near town, really like past the CBD. And Kamkunji is just an area where you can do your shopping. And they have a couple of little malls down there where you can get all your household goods at wholesale or near wholesale pricing. So I got this little plate set at Kamkunji. So if you are considering moving to Nairobi, just put this on your list of places to go. And it's really cute. Like, you get the little saucers, you get the little cups. You can see like a little gold trim. And then I got these like little gold silverware spoons and knives and forks. And then of course, it came with like larger plates. It came with bowls. And I just like this little marble finish. Yeah, so Kamkunji Market, add that to your list if you're looking for places to get your household items at really discounted prices. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be hectic just getting down there, but I feel like it's worth it. And when you're coming to a new country, it's really good to explore. But I will add that most of my Kenyan friends do not venture down there. And so when I tell Kenyans that I be at Gikomba, I be at Kariakora, I be at Kamkunji, they just be like, you go down there? Yes, I do. Oh, before I get into that, yes, I am dressed very sporty today because I'm going to Pilates. And yes, we do have Pilates studios, yoga studios here in Nairobi and really throughout the country, to be perfectly honest. So let's talk about why I left Zanzibar. Let me sip some tea first. Zanzibar, it's billed as this beautiful, fantastical paradise that's difficult to reach, and it's beautiful and it's tropical, and it would just be a dream to visit, let alone live there. So when I tell people that I lived there for a year and it was supposed to be my forever home, and then I left, folks is like, wait, what? You lived there and then you left? Why? So let's start with how I ended up in Zanzibar. I was literally working in a dream job, in a position that I had created for myself at an organization where I actually saw myself growing. And I see a future there, and they tell me they see a future with me, and I create this program that they were like, yo, you are about to double our revenue into the millions. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Then they come into my department and they announce there will be layoffs. But if you are a high performer, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Hey, I was always in the top 3 in terms of my KPIs in my department. So I was doing well. So I didn't think I was going to be laid off. Honey, they start calling all of us one by one into conference room. Some people is coming back happy. Some people's coming back dejected. They call my name. I grab my portfolio, my notepad, my writing utensil, go into the conference room like I know I'm going to get promoted. And I was laid off. Before I could even leave the conference room, they had gathered up my belongings from my desk and placed them at the conference room door. So, as you can imagine, I was a little crazy. I vacillated between being angry and incredulous to laughing hysterically. I contacted a lawyer to see if I could get some of my intellectual property back. The lawyer was like, no, at this point, it's corporate property, corporate intellectual property, something like that. So then I started, looking for a job. And I was half-assed looking for a job. I wasn't into it. And then our sister company wanted to hire me. But by that time, I had already decided that I was moving to Zanzibar. This place that I had gone to on the previous year for my birthday. And I had had such an amazing time. And I was just like, okay, how can I get back to this place? How can I make this place my everyday? Whenever you go someplace, you always trying to figure out someplace fabulous. You're trying to figure out how can I make this my everyday? And I had tried a couple of things and it just didn't work out. Now I saw an opportunity. There was nothing holding me back from going to Zanzibar and making Zanzibar my full-time home. And so that's how I ended up in Zanzibar. I sold basically everything. What I didn't sell, I gave away or I stored in my dad's garage. And I had 2 suitcases and 1 carry-on, and I took my ass to Zanzibar. And that's how I ended up in Zanzibar. And Zanzibar was supposed to be my forever home. Who wouldn't want to live in paradise? I literally had a small cottage, 2-bedroom, 2-bath that was literally across a small dirt road from the ocean. I wound up in the tiny fishing village of Jambiani, which is just south of Paje, for those of you who know the east side of the island. And I will say for the first 6 to 8 months, I was just decompressing from life in the United States. There are 5 main reasons why I left Zanzibar. The anti-blackness is probably number 1 on the list. I knew through my research that Zanzibaris or Zenjis as they call themselves, did not consider themselves to be black. I knew that, and that's fine. As African Americans, we tend to want every person that is of African descent to claim blackness or identify as black in the same ways that we do. And that's just not the case outside of the United States. Most people, unless they have spent significant amount of time in the US, they don't consider themselves to be black in the same ways that we do. And that's perfectly okay. However, just like there is this desire in the US for many Black Americans to want to be more proximate to whiteness or more proximate to and just non-blackness, more proximate to Asian, more proximate to Indigenous American, more proximate to Latino. In Zanzibar, there is a desire to be more proximate to Arabness. So you will encounter people who look like me, who are darker than me, who have more African, typically African or Bantu, if you will, West African, whatever you want to call it, Negroid phenotypes. They will straight up tell you that they are Arab and that they mama is Arab or they grandmama is Arab, just in the same way in the US that we be like, my grandma is Indian, my grandfather is Indian or white or whatever it is. So, that could be a little annoying, but it's deeper than that. To call somebody black in Zanzibar is a bad word. How the anti-blackness will resonate in your day-to-day life should you move to Zanzibar as someone who appears to be, who is phenotypically obviously black, is the service won't be as great for you. Within the service industry, I have been told that they are trained, people that work in resorts and hotels and restaurants and retail stores, they are trained to prioritize foreigners, non-black foreigners. So that means that if you go into a restaurant and you sit down and some non-black people come in the same restaurant and sit down after you, they will be served first and they will get their food first. And it is for this reason that Africans who have been to Zanzibar say that they will never go back. And one of the homies, who's Zenji, he was like, if you think it's bad for you, imagine how bad it is for me. So there's this hierarchy, right? So you've got European foreigners, and then below that, you probably have Arabs, Indians, wealthy or moneyed Africans, in which I would fall into that category. And then you've got your local black appearing Zenjis. And that plays out at resorts, that plays out at hotels, and you can raise a fuss. But if you're not in a mood and if you don't want to fight every day, you just either have to put up with it or just decide, I'm not going to support these places. But it's basically every place. And once a month, I try to treat myself to a higher end experience. And I would go to a resort for drinks, lunch, dinner, entertainment, music, whatever it was. Restaurant. I would try to treat myself to a higher end experience, an elevated experience. I'll say that. And it was always a problem. It was always a problem. Whether I'm experiencing conflict from the staff, the owners, or the patrons who were like, how is this black person able to afford the same experience that I save for? I have so many stories, but I think I like to share the most egregious. And I want to be mindful because I am creating my world with my mouth, and I'm trying to be more conscious of the words that I say. At the same time, I want to be authentic in the information that I share. I should also tell you that I moved to Zanzibar on January 2018. So I was in Zanzibar from 2018 to 2019. I know quite a bit has changed there, but I doubt that anti-blackness has dissipated. I seriously doubt that. All right, so, and I was also there a couple of years ago on vacation. Okay. But one thing I would say that they're more used to African Americans living and coming to Zanzibar, whereas before it was just really European heavy. So 2018, I booked a long stay Airbnb. I think it was like 30 days I had booked at this lodge. Mentioned in the previous episode, it was terrible. It didn't look nothing like the pictures on Airbnb. However, I did not want to negatively impact the business, so I just decided to suck it up. I prioritized them over me, which I would not do that today. But at my development at that point in time, I prioritized them people and they staff over my needs, and I decided to stay. I said, you know what, but I can still go to these resorts that are near here and still have an elevated experience, and that's what I did. I found this place called, what's it called? Zanzibar? I found this little place. It was a boutique hotel, and it was closer to the ocean than where I was, and it was so cute. It was so cute, just the colors, the way it was decorated, the service, the food, all of it. They had a pool, I could lounge, so I could do my work there. So I decided I will stay at this little helter-skelter lodge, but I will go to this other little boutique hotel and just, have an experience. So I would go there and I would have a dip in the pool and I would have my lunch and I would work and I would just relax and lounge. Not a problem until the owner showed up. The owner was French. And first thing he did when he saw me, he said, the pool is for residents who are staying here, but you're already in the pool. So, you can stay. Energy was, I want you to get out the pool. I don't want you here, but I'm going to be passive aggressive about it. So I'm confused. And I talked to the manager. The manager is Zenji. The manager is like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, okay. I go back again. This time, I'm having lunch. I'm having a little fruit drink, chilling. Owner walks by me, and he's like, he greets me. He's got an attitude. And he says, "Oh, you forgot something the last time you were here." I'm like, "What? What did I forget?" "Your bill. You forgot to pay your bill." And he just walks off. So I'm like, "What?" Now I'm thinking, did I forget to pay my bill? So the staff is walking by and they're just like, "I don't think that's true. That's not correct." But they just walking past me and saying this in a lower tone. I'm just like, what is going on here? So I'm sitting there, I'm confused. And then I just get one of the staff. I say, can you get him for me? "Okay." "The owner?" "Yes, the owner." So you go to get the owner. The owner comes out. He sees that I am the one who has summoned him. And so when he sees that, he makes a beeline for the kitchen. So I'm like, what is going on? I sit there, I wait for him to come out the kitchen. Man, he not gonna come out that kitchen. No, he not cooking shit. He not coming out the kitchen. So I get up and I'm hot. Now I'm hot. I'm going from confused to being hot. So I walk over to the kitchen and I just stand at the door. And finally he comes to the door and I said, "What's your name?" Because I'm trying, let's start over. "What's your name?" "Why do you need to know my name?" It's commonplace for the owner to introduce himself. "You don't need to." I said, "Well, my name is Tadre." And I try to have a conversation with him. And he's not having it. So then it escalates. So now we going back and forth. And mind you, there's guests around the pool and it's a boutique hotel. It's small. So then he tries to put his hands on me and throw me out the establishment. So now I'm living. Okay. Don't you ever put your hands on me. Get your hands off. Listen, I said, now I'm thinking I'm in the U.S. Call the police. I'm not leaving till I'm ready to go. You want me to leave? Call the police. Call the police. Ain't no police to call. There is no 911. Oh my God. If they come in, there are police. Let me not. There are police on the island. But they don't operate like we accustomed to. So then the people, you can see the people around the pool, they looking up like, what is going on? So the guy starts clapping. He starts clapping. He's like, "Everyone, look at her. Look at her. Look how, isn't she amazing?" Or whatever the hell he said, right? So then the little dude that I was seeing, he pulls up. He sees what's going on. He don't come nowhere near the situation. He stands outside the boutique hotel and he's just like, "Message, Tadre, that was a message. That was a sign." Anyway, I won't get too much into it, but if you want to know about that experience, check out the episode about Beach Boys. Anyway, so eventually I ended up leaving. I'm pissed. I get over it. Months pass. I'm walking past the boutique hotel and the staff sees me. Two of the staff members see me and they're like, "Oh, we remember you and we're so sorry that happened." And then they said, "He doesn't like when people like you." Now these are people like me telling me that he doesn't like when people like you and they do like this to their hands come to the hotel. He doesn't like that. And they were like, he doesn't like when they come from Uganda, from Kenya, from South Africa. He doesn't like that. But then they said, "Good for you. You told him right." Was like, what? And y'all still working for him? So if he don't want Black people to patronize his business, no matter how much green they got, imagine how much he's paying the Black people that work for him. It has to be a pittance. Later on, I was standing at the Matatu stage, which is like the public bus stop in Paje. I was standing there and I ran into the manager. He was also waiting for the bus and he was just there. Listen, I know he's there for a reason and it's for more than that little paycheck he get, but I'm not going to go into that. So he's standing there and he's just like, he's gotten better. We've taught him. He's gotten better. I'm like, yo, you still working for this dude? Anyway, it is what it is. And I liked the place so much. And I actually filmed a little video. It's in my It's in my playlist on YouTube. And what's the title of that playlist? It's called Off the Beaten Path. I liked it so much, I even did a little episode about it until that incident happened. And I came back and I had to edit and say, yo, these people are racist. And you think about somebody who has left everything that they know. He has left France and come to a place, set up a business, and is living his life in a place where he don't like the people. That would be like me disliking Chinese, but leaving the US and going to China to set up shop when I don't like Chinese people. If that were to be the case, I'm not saying I dislike Chinese, that's not what I'm saying. But yeah, it's interesting. That's privilege. Dating in Zanzibar, that's another area where anti-blackness shows up. And it was just hard to watch because you got people who are from mainland Tanzania who are there looking for work, whether legit or on the what's the word I'm looking for? Informal market. And so you've got all of these beach boys, whether they're Zenji or they're from the mainland or from Uganda or from Kenya, who are looking for lonely Europeans, male, female, it don't matter the gender. And they're looking to exploit that for whatever they can. I won't go into detail about it. If you want to know more about it, listen to the episode, what is it called? Beach Boys. They're all throughout the coastal Africa, just everywhere, okay? So what was interesting to me is that these beach boys and beach boy adjacents, they really just want a white person, more specifically, a white woman. They're not looking for Asian foreigners, black foreigners, none of that. They just want whites. And in a way, that should be a blessing. However, that does trickle down into the populace that is also not engaging in sex work. And it was just really difficult to watch. And during the low season, which is what's April, May, June, during the low season, there's the Europeans that have businesses there, that live there. They go back to Europe because it's almost like monsoon. It's just like raining nonstop. Some of the resorts and lodges shut down because there's not a lot of tourists. And the way you find that the predators are depressed, they are so depressed. You ask them like, hey, how's it going? What's good? Mambo VP, whatever. Oh, it's low season. There's no tourists. There's no one there to exploit in more ways than one. And then you see all these young single mothers that have children by the same sex workers. Let's just call a spade a spade. And it's like, damn. Yeah. And then also being like a woman who was single, who is also middle-aged. When I got there, I was like in my late 40s. There's nobody to date. There's like, your options are European men, which if that's your thing, do you. That's not my thing. I tried it. It wasn't working out. I don't like being fetishized. Then you've got married men. And then you've got like really young dudes. And then you're dealing with, usually, unless he's married and established, you're going to be dealing with the income differential, which is a challenge on its own. And you might just more than likely wind up supporting his whole immediate and extended family. There's that piece. And that island is full of middle-aged women who have small children, toddlers and babies, essentially by sex workers, and they're miserable. There's that piece. Something else, the second reason why I left Zanzibar, which is just ancillary, but it matters, is I wanted to wear regular clothing. And you just can't do that in Zanzibar. You can't do that in Lamu. Like I see when people like on their way to yoga in Lamu, Kenya, they'll have like they'll like wrap something around their waist so as not to disrespect the local populations. And believe me, I didn't mind it. I knew going in, especially having done my research as a tourist the year prior, I knew like cleavage, no. Back out, no. Sleeveless, no. Stomach out, no. Tight pants, that's a no, right? So the younger generation of Zenjis, they do push boundaries as much as they possibly can. Like they'll have their cute little jeans or whatever on underneath, and then they'll cinch the waist and they'll have like their little sneakers on. That's about as much as they can do. The men, the boys, they can walk around in shorts, shirtless, or in tank tops. That dichotomy, that differential, that double standard and expectation, that kind of bothered me. But it's just like, so I would walk around respectful. You know, I might have short sleeves on. Everything I wore was loose fitting. You know, my legs were covered. If I wore a dress, it at the very least went below the knees, if not at my ankles. Sometimes I would cover my hair, sometimes I wouldn't. Now, it's not a demand that you cover your hair, but they prefer that you do. So I did all those things. And even still, when I would walk through Stone Town, little teenage boys would try to shame me. I'm like, I'm a grown ass woman. Ain't nothing you can do to shame me. You know, but there was that element. And so there was a point where I just wanted to wear regular clothes and I wanted to speak English. I know. First world problems. So I just went to Uganda next door. And it was just like, oh. Now, Ugandans are also relatively conservative in dress compared to, let's say, Miami, compared to Los Angeles, or really any place in the US. I found that in Uganda, you could wear really tight clothing as long as everything was covered. That was except for at night. That's the only caveat. But I just felt like a certain freedom, you know? Now, at night in Zanzibar, you would think you was in Miami. So, just outside of Stone Town, you go to some of them clubs, you think you're in Miami. Women with bedazzled bras on with the rhinestones, the Daisy Dukes. I was shocked. I was like, who are these people? They was like, they're Zenjis. I'm like, no, no, no. Who are they? They were like, I'm telling you, they're from here. I said, what? I said, but are they Muslim? Yes, they are Muslim. I said, what? It's a lot going on in Zanzibar below the surface. A lot. In regards to dress in Zanzibar, like you think, okay, I'm at the beach. You think it's not Miami. You cannot leave the beach in your bikini. I remember I was sitting in front of my house and this European couple, they were leaving the beach and they were walking through my village. And the man was shirtless and the woman just had on her bikini, honey. This grandmother came out of her house. This is a fruit fly. This grandmother came out of her house with a wrap, ran up on this woman, wrapped her up in the lasso, and sent her on her way. They don't play that. Also, at this time, the number 3 reason why I left, and this is just me being silly. Like I said, I do be taking risks. I'll be taking risks. But I was just focused on paradise. Let me just get to paradise. And I'll be on the continent and I could film my web series. So I've spoken about how my focus was on filming, producing this web series called Off the Beaten Path. It is available for free here on YouTube if you're interested in fashion and how things are made. You will love this series. So my goal was, my thinking was like, this is supposed to be an international series. I'll be on the continent. It'll be easier for me to travel throughout the continent and interview different designers. Hey, it's difficult to leave that island, especially when you're living in a small fishing village and not Stone Town. So let's just say that it would take me a day to get to Stone Town and then buy the ticket to hop on the ferry to get to Dar. And then there you spend a day in Dar to then get on a bus or a flight to go to your next country. It was just too much. So it was difficult for me to leave the island to produce this web series. It was very costly. That's another reason why I left. Oh, and the last reason, I needed a highly skilled pool of creatives to produce my web series. And that just did not exist on the island. I hate to say. There was basically two outfits at the time that had the skill level to help me produce this series. When I asked for a quote, the first dude was European, and he just didn't take me seriously. He didn't take me seriously. So, he was taking a long time to get back to me, and he was running me, he was just like giving me the runaround, and I ended up going off on him. The second outfit, they were Tanzanian, based on the island, and they were like, she's foreigner, we're going to give her the foreigner price. They were trying to charge me just like ridiculous fees. Like I was the Hilton Hotel, So I was like, this is ridiculous. I went to Uganda for vacation. I left Zanzibar and went to Kampala for vacation. Loved it. Could not wait to get back to Zanzibar and pack my things and move with haste to Kampala. While in Kampala on vacation, I met a brother. Shout out to Simone Atuha. I will forever be grateful. That brother, I met him, got to Kampala. I was like, yo, they got a fashion scene here. It would be stupid for me to come here and not shoot an episode for my web series. Found Simone through the grapevine. He was like, I believe in what you're doing. I have been praying for a project like this that I could get behind. He was like, I believe in you. He said, I believe in you, and I will do this work for you at a rate that you can afford. I won't say the rate because I want my guy to make money, but so I was like, I'm gonna move to Kampala for 2 to 4 months to get this web series going. And I ended up staying in Kampala for 2 years. This is not why I left the island, but this is something that you will see. Once you leave the resorts, it will become very apparent that Zanzibar, the main island, Unguja, I did not travel to Pemba and the other islands. Well, not the major larger islands. Like I did a blue safari where we hopped around on islands, but I wasn't in Pemba. But on Unguja, they have a serious waste management problem. Serious. Let's put this in context, all right? Most countries have a serious waste management problem. In the US, we're pretty good at hiding it. We ship our waste abroad to places like the Philippines. Zanzibar's real estate is so tiny, they can't hide it. It's very difficult to hide. Now, there are trash pickups, like they have garbage trucks, that very few establishments pay for because it's cheaper to just burn it. I am allergic to smoke. And when people burn this trash with the plastics, and I can't breathe. And it's just commonplace. And so you will find waste, all types of human waste, in lagoons, on the beaches, in the, what is that area called? Not the swamps. Oh my God, what is it called? Just the waterways. All types of trash. And visitors will come to Zanzibar and they'll say, oh, I want to organize a trash pickup. We're gonna do a beach cleanup. Okay. The very next day, more waste is going to wash up on the beach. And it's worse in certain seasons. And so there was one period where I was really trying to organize or work with a local organization on the island that was trying to do something about it. I had meetings with them. I had been to their offices and everything. And they told me, they're like, yeah, people like you show up all the time and want to do something about the problem, and then you disappear. Sad to say, I'm one of those people that disappeared. I left the island. So I want to end on a high note because I am working on controlling this contraption here and creating the world that I want to live in with my mouth. And what I will leave you with is that I hope that so much of what I have mentioned has changed. And I hope that if you are considering a move to Zanzibar, that you have a beautiful experience and that you are welcomed with open arms and that people tell you, welcome home. Thank you for joining me on this episode of BLAXIT to Africa. If you like what you heard, please share, subscribe, and leave a review. May you thrive. May you be inspired. May you move with love and intention. Until next time.